Hi everyone, welcome to today's yoga practice. We're going to be using a mat today, so go ahead and grab yours. And we're going to start kneeling, so sitting back on the heels. You are always welcome to grab a blanket if you happen to have tender knees. Can only help to have a little cushion under there. Or if kneeling simply doesn't work for your body today, no problem. Sitting down cross-legged is totally fine. So we'll just find a place to sit for a few moments. And let's start by closing the eyes just for now and tuning into your breath. And so that can be really simple if we let it be. We can just start to notice sensation of the breath. We don't even need to change it or deepen it right away. We can just start to pay attention to it, because isn't it amazing that we are breathing literally every moment of our lives, and so seldom do we really pay attention, really take a moment to feel the breath come in through the nose, feeling it fill up our lungs, our belly maybe even expands, and we can start to follow sensation back out. So just stay with that a few rounds, just letting the breath be natural for now. And we can start to make sure our body is awake and engaged as well, even in the seated position. So making sure we're sitting up tall, so the spine is long, crown of the head growing towards the ceiling, and at the same time our shoulders are relaxed, our jaw is soft, our face can be soft. And then we're engaging the whole core, so the belly muscles, especially right now, we can think about, and by engaging, I mean kind of tightening up, using them for support. And we can do that by thinking about drawing our belly button in and up, back towards our spine. Really lovely. So from here, let's deepen the breath. Let's take a longer, deeper inhale than we have so far, and a slower, longer exhale as well. And at this point, I'll invite us all to bring our hands to our heart area in a prayer shape. And then to build this connection to our breath, you can blink open your eyes if you need a visual aid. We'll inhale and separate the palms. It's using the whole length of our inhale to draw the palms away from each other. And then using our whole exhale, however long that takes, to bring the palms back to touch in that prayer shape. So it's a little moving meditation, we could call it, where we inhale, spread the palms, timing that pace to match our breath. And then exhale, bringing the palms back together. So take a few just like that. So important to set the tone, to lay a foundation for this time. And breath, as always, is our foundation. It's our guide. So if your breath is slower or faster than mine, you might not totally match my cueing, and that's okay. I want you to listen to your own breath, your own body, always taking what works for you and feeling free to leave or change what doesn't. So let's do 3 more big breaths like this. Let's inhale, spread the palms, and you can even make them big enough that you can feel a stretch through the chest, maybe even the back, the shoulders, almost like you could pinch the shoulder blades together. 2 more just like that. And as you're finishing up, I'll just congratulate you for pushing play, for taking this time, for deciding you had to choose to show up and take this time for yourself. So let's make it time well spent. It's so good that you're here. Lovely. I think that was our 3rd one. So if you need a visual aid, you can feel free to open your eyes, or you can challenge yourself and try to keep the eyes closed as much as possible throughout this practice. Just really allowing yourself to feel it for yourself from the inside out. So from our kneeling position still, or maybe you're in cross legs again, either way will work. We'll start to take our left palm out to the left. And just enjoy a side bend. So reaching that right arm up overhead, you might bend slightly through that left elbow. Yeah, and let's pause here. Let's really luxuriate in this nice open side bend. So keeping the shoulders relaxed still. It's almost like with that lifted arm, You could spin and plug your shoulder back into its socket, not letting that shoulder creep up by your ear too much, even if it means you can't go as high with that arm. Lovely. With every inhale, stretching and spreading through the right side of the body, that rib cage, making more room for that breath. Awesome. On our next inhale, we can come out of that side bend, keep that right arm lifted, and start to bend at the elbow, bringing that hand behind our back. So reaching like between the shoulder blades, back of our neck. And then from here, we can take the left hand, reach up and grab that elbow. So should feel a nice stretch through the back of that right arm. We can lift through the chin and lean back into our hands. Maybe even feeling a stretch in the front of the body as well as we breathe in nice and deep. Let's do one more inhale right here. And then as we exhale, opening the arms, releasing that clasp and taking a cactus shape. So almost like a goalpost, 90-degree bend at the elbows. We'll inhale to press the arms back behind us, lift through the chin, open the chest. And exhale, bring the forearms together, elbows together. And then we can bring the elbows toward our belly. It's almost like a little seated crunch. So let's take that flow a couple of times. We'll inhale, lift up, open the arms wide, goalpost, lean back, lift the chin. And then whole exhale to bring the elbows together, tuck into a little ball. Again, keeping that belly nice and tight, belly button in towards the spine. Couple just like that. Actually, let's just do one more because we're going to pass through this again. So enjoying that big breath in, stretch through the back and the spine, and then exhale a little crunch. Lovely. Let's inhale, arms wide, no bend to the elbows, palms up to the sky. And then we'll take this on our exhale into side bend to the right. So right fingertips come out to the side now as left arm comes up overhead. Again, we're staying soft in the face and the jaw, relaxing that shoulder into its socket. Maybe even a turn of the head a little, turn of the chin up and down, stretching through that neck. Our yoga practice can become a game. This is a game I play when I practice. It's like, ooh, maybe not everything about this shape feels good, but what can I find that does feel good? Can I move in a way, or even just think in a way that allows this to feel a little easier, a little sweeter, not as much pressure, right? Beautiful. The next time we inhale, we can come up long through the spine. And again, we'll bend at the elbow, bring the left hand behind the head this time, base of our neck. Reach up with the right, grab onto that elbow. Tricep stretch on the left. And you might lean back a bit, using the support of our arms to cradle our head. And you might already notice moving this way, taking some time to slow down, we start to tune into the thoughts as well. You might start to notice the mental chatter, that constant stream. It's like a radio station in the background all the time, constant thoughts. So where are your thoughts right now? Good to check in, just notice where we're at. Yeah, one more inhale, and then as we exhale, we'll open wide to that goalpost. So bent elbows, inhale to stretch the chest open, exhale, little crunch. So we'll do 3 more right here. Inhale, open wide. The good news is that whether we're aware of it or not, we do have some say over the thoughts. We can develop the ability to select our thoughts, to choose them, so that they can support us and our goals and the life we want to have. So if we don't like the direction our thoughts are going right now, this is the perfect opportunity to change them, to steer them in a different direction. Let's do one more little crunch. Yeah, open wide. Let's stretch the arms long, no bend in the elbows. And just because I can't resist, let's give ourselves a big hug. Let's wrap the arms around ourselves. So grabbing on the shoulders, you can tuck your chin towards your chest. Lovely. Let's use an inhale to open up wide. And then see if you can remember which arm you had on top and hug the opposite way. So opposite arm on top, tucking that chin. And I dare you, I challenge you to let this be a real hug, like really taking a moment to appreciate yourself today exactly as you are, not changing anything. There's so much to appreciate, and it's all too easy to only focus on what we don't like about ourselves or what we want to change. So let's just embrace exactly where we're at. And at the same time, we can work to grow. So we can inhale, open those arms. And let's rock forward onto hands and knees. So you might notice I changed my direction a lot, just so you can get a better angle. But yeah, you will face the short edge of your mat. So we're long on the mat. So now I'm going to spin the way that you have been facing. So knees are under hips, palms under shoulders. Spreading the fingers comfortably wide. I like to tuck my toes behind me to stretch through the bottoms of my feet, but you can also have the feet flat. And we'll start to take some cats and cows here. Let's inhale to drop the belly, arch through the spine, looking up. And it's kind of the same feeling of pinching those shoulder blades together as the shoulders relax away from the ears that we did before. And then exhale to press into the palms, rounding through the back, bringing your pelvis towards your chin. And we'll take a few like that. So again, you can move at your own pace. Inhale to drop the belly, look up. Exhale to round through the back. This is our cat stretch. Inhale, dropping belly, cow. We talk about habits a lot, just as we're continuing to flow here. We can chat about habits for a minute, because I know that's a big theme in our program, right? Is what are the habits that I have and how are they serving me? How are they not serving me? And doing that slow and steady work to change our habits. And I think thinking and the thoughts that we have and the way we tend to think about life and ourselves is habitual. It becomes a habit. So maybe we notice we have a habit of being really critical of ourselves. And as we're moving here for a few more rounds of breath, you might start to move outside the box a little bit. You can swing your hips a little side to side, looking over one shoulder and then the other. Or even start to make some circles with those hips. The beauty of practicing at home is that no one can see you except for who's in your home. So it doesn't even matter what this looks like. Nor does it ever, even in a class. Maybe we notice that our tendency, our habit when we're thinking is to be negative, right? To only see what's wrong. Again, to only see what needs changing in ourselves or our lives. And that's okay. It's important to be able to see what's wrong, but we can also ask ourselves, is that working? Do I like where my thoughts are getting me? Because wherever we're at in our life is a product of our thoughts. Every action, everything we do all day, every day starts with a thought. And so it's really important to start to notice what those thoughts are made of. All right, guys. So lovely. We're going to find neutral table. So again, palms under shoulders, knees under hips. And we're going to take a simple twist. So let's bring the left palm maybe a little more under our chest, so a little more center as we inhale, right arm to the sky. So I think they call this easy twist in yoga, but to me, there is nothing easy about it. It feels rather awkward, actually. And so if that's you, that's okay. If your arm's not all the way up in the air and it's more out to the side, no worries. You're still getting the same exact stretch. And my arm is cut off, but I like to do things like this, like circle through the wrist, wiggle through the fingers, again, finding a way to make it feel sweet, to make it feel good, even though it's challenging perhaps at the same time. Let's take one more inhale. I'm going to spin forward for this next one just so you can see better, but you can stay where you are. And then we're going to wrap that lifted arm around our low back, if possible, or just in that direction to your ability. And then from here, inhaling to rise up on the knees and lift that left arm to the sky. I need a cameraman so that I don't have to keep adjusting it. All good. Yes. So left arm is to the sky. Right arm is wrapped around our low back. We're engaging that belly still. We're still long in the spine, soft in the shoulders. Inhale right here. And then exhale, let's once again take a side bend to the right. So left arm comes up overhead. Lovely. One more inhale, maybe leaning a little bit further. And then as we exhale, let's start to lean back. So that arm that's wrapped around our low back is supported as we start to press the hips forward. And then almost like we're drawing a half circle with those left fingertips, we can kind of arc ourselves back. So we're leaning back. It's a little baby back bend. Let's take one more inhale here. Exhale, release that left arm, release the wrapped arm. Next inhale to lift both arms up overhead. And we're gonna do a dive. So inhaling, arms up. Exhale, let's start to fold. Let's bend at the knees, bringing our forehead towards the floor as our arms reach all the way back behind us. So I'll do that again for you to see. Inhale, engaging the belly, engaging the legs to lift up. Maybe tipping back a little bit, and then exhale to take that dive. Let's do one more. Inhaling up. Exhale, diving forward. Awesome. And then we can bring our palms once again under shoulders, tabletop. Way to go. All right, so we're just going to do that on the other side. We get another opportunity to practice that. So taking a moment to find that baseline, that center. Reconnecting with the breath if we've lost it. And then we can start to maybe bring that right palm a little closer to center, a little more under our chest as we inhale, left arm to the sky. And if our thoughts are all over the place, if you're like myself and so many people I talk to, and your mind is just racing a mile a minute, thinking a million different things, the breath can be really helpful. It can be very soothing to bring our focus to that, if my mind is all over, let me redirect and I can at least bring my focus back to my breathing. Gives my crazy mind something to do, something to focus on rather than being all over the place. I always say it's like giving a little kid a coloring book rather than just telling that kid to be still and quiet. All right, so we can start to wrap that left arm around our low back. And then using our belly, using the strength of our legs, we'll start to rise up, right arm up overhead. So I'll do a side view this round, even though you can't see my head, don't matter. So big breath in right here. And then we'll start to lean to the left. So right arm is up overhead. We can play with our gaze. We might be looking up at that hand, or maybe we're like looking straight ahead or down at the floor, whatever's feeling best for our neck. Always free to roll around a bit through the chin. And then again, keeping the belly strong and tight, we can start to arch back. So if our right fingertips were a pencil, we can kind of draw on the back wall, arc it up and over. So we're coming into that back bend. Back bends can be a little dizzying, sometimes a little nausea-inducing. So if that is happening, just know that that is normal. Nothing to worry about. Just taking it easy. Yeah, and then let's inhale this time. Release those arms. Both come up to the sky. And then exhale, taking that dive, swinging arms behind us. You can even let out a sigh. Sometimes it feels good to make some sound. Inhaling all the way. Exhale. Inhale, reaching up and back. It's almost like we're brushing the slate clean too. Ooh, even if it's just the morning, if anything didn't go our way, we can kind of brush it back. Let's do one more. Inhaling up, exhale, sweep the arms back. And then this time, let's lower the seat onto the heels, taking our embryo pose. So it's similar to a child's pose, but the arms are behind us. And the knees are maybe a little closer together. Forehead can come to the floor. And we can rock a little side to side even maybe, massaging our forehead, massaging our hips. Awesome. And then we can start to bring our palms out in front of us. And then bring weight into those palms to lift ourselves back up to hands and knees. All right, y'all, so we got one more little flow to get through, and then we'll do some stretching. So we'll start in that same home base, that tabletop. And I'll have us just stretch out that left leg to start. So toes can be tucked. Let me make sure you can see my feet for a second. So yeah, toes are tucked. And then with our breath, we're going to shift a little front and back. So I like to inhale, shift forward. So shoulders come more over those wrists or even past them as we come onto the top of that back foot, the one that's extended. And then as we exhale and press back, we can tuck the toe again and press through the heel. So let's try that again. Let's inhale forward, rolling onto the toes, rolling onto the top of the foot as we shift that weight. Belly is tight, core is engaged. And then exhale to, once again, roll over the toes, tuck them, press through that heel. So let's take a few like that on our own. Should be feeling like a pretty nice stretch through the whole back of that left leg, especially that calf for me when I press through my back heel. But we're massaging the ankles too, the whole foot, the toes. Awesome. Next breath in, still using our belly. We'll inhale that leg off the floor. So strong leg, foot is off the floor. We're flexing through that foot. Let's inhale to lift that leg a little bit more. And then exhale, we'll start to draw knee to nose, doing, again, a little crunch. Inhale, stretch everything long, looking up. Exhale, knee to nose. So you might notice that the spine is really similar to when we're in cats and cows, right? We're arching as we inhale and stretch it back. And we're rounding as we exhale, drawing the belly in, knee to nose. You'll notice, or maybe you already have, that I'm not a great counter, so I don't know how many we've done. Probably enough. Let's do one more. Yeah, and then inhale, stretch that leg back. And then let's step forward. Let's step that left foot up between the hands. I'm going to scooch back a little bit so you can see. But we're in a low lunge, so that back knee is grounded, left foot between the hands. Let's enjoy a twist by bringing the right palm flat. And let's inhale left arm to the sky. So for me, at least, I feel like I have more room than when we did that tabletop twist. So you might be able to spin your chest a little bit more to the sky. Maybe that arm can lift a little higher, or maybe it can even start to reach behind you. I always love to circle through my wrist, or you can even circle through that whole arm. Kind of like an air guitar. Yeah, beautiful. Big breath in. Let's stretch that left arm straight to the sky. And then on our exhale, we're just going to change our palms. So we're going to bring left palm inside, this time next to our left foot. And we're going to open the other way. So for me, this back foot, I like to spin it behind me a little bit. It's almost like a kickstand on a bike so that I can balance a little better as I lift my right arm to the sky. And then here, there can be an engagement. It's almost like I'm pressing my arm into my knee and my knee into my arm at the same time. So I'm making like one strong base with that shin and that arm. And it's like you can use that leverage, pressing your arm into your leg to twist your chest to the sky a little bit more. Hopefully that's making sense and you guys are feeling that. Lovely. A little different on this side. This one's a little tighter. As you can see, my arm is not all the way straight. No big deal. We're just asking for a stretch. That's it. Is anyone else an overthinker? Right? Like really fixating on things and dissecting them and analyzing them and worrying about them and fretting about them. Anyone else? Just me? I hope not. Cool. The next time we inhale, we're going to let that lifted arm take us all the way up so that we can lift that left arm. There we go. Yeah, so we're in a grounded warrior two. So we're going to turn our head to gaze. Whenever I say gaze, that just means the direction our eyes are going. So gazing off those left fingertips. Seeing what we can do to relax the shoulders away from the ears. I know mine always like to creep up. And then similar to the beginning, let's inhale, stretch the arms wide. And then as we exhale, bringing that left arm in front of the body. And from here, we can grab on either above or below the elbow, usually on the forearm, right below the elbow is a good place. Keeping this shoulder, oh my gosh, with a camera, I see my shoulder drops like 10 inches. Yes, keeping that shoulder relaxed as we take that left arm across our body. Big stretch for the tricep here. Inhale, open arms wide. Exhale right here in our grounded warrior two. And then as we inhale, we're going to flip this front palm up and tip it up and back all the way towards the sky. So I'm reaching behind me for that back heel. You can even tuck the toes and bring the heel a little closer to you, or hand on hip works too. Or so many options, right? This is why we love yoga, something for everybody. You can even, like we did again, wrap that opposite arm around your low back for some more support. Are you ready? Last pose on this side. We will inhale here, maybe tipping back a little bit more. And then exhale, rise up. Take that lifted left arm in front of you. So we're going to make that cactus shape again. Bring the elbow in front. Stay with me. A little tricky, but we got this. So left arm, 90 degrees in front of us. Right arm, we're going to take it and wrap it underneath. So crossing at the elbows. And then we're going to see about bringing the backs of the hands to touch so that forearms are touching, elbows are crossed. Eagle arms, they call these. If you're freaky bendy and double jointed like I am, you might be able to even cross at the wrists and bring the palms together. But please don't worry about that. It's not necessary. Backs of the hands is fine. And even if your elbows are like this, if you've got really tight shoulders, this might not be possible. And so this is not something to force. We will hurt ourselves. So let your body be wherever it is, even if the arms are not crossed, okay? So eagle arms, if you're crossed, once again, we need constant reminders to relax the shoulders away from the ears, keep that belly engaged. And then when you relax the shoulders, you should feel this more. It's almost like the shoulder stretch intensifies. If you need or want even a little bit more, see what it feels like to lift the elbows a little bit as you keep those shoulders relaxed. For me, it's like a whole giant tug between my shoulder blades. Yeah. Let's do a couple crunches. You guys ready? Let's just give it a try. Let's inhale, lift the elbows a little bit. And then exhale, draw elbows towards our belly button as we once again tuck in round. So when we do this with the leg out, you guys might notice we get a stretch in the hip as well. So efficient. This is why we love yoga, right? Let's take a few. Moving with your own breath. It's like, man, we are so busy in life. So many of us, so many of you, I know because I hear about it. Just 30 minutes of this practice, we get to work every single muscle of our body, strengthening and stretching at the same time. And we're also working on our mind. We're working on our mindset. We're reprogramming and retraining our brains, which is everything. That is the birthplace of change. Again, it starts with our thoughts. So noticing where they're at. I think that's enough. Let's inhale, open the arms wide. And we're going to spin. So if that kickstand is behind you, you may spin it back in line as we turn the hips over that left leg. Inhaling arms up to the sky. And then as we exhale, let's straighten through that left leg and dive over it. Give a little stretch for that left hamstring. Do any of you go to Mark's fitness class, our exercise physiologist? I'm thinking about him even still. It's Tuesday, and I went to his class on Friday. I gotta tell y'all, I can barely walk. Still, it's been 4 days, so my hamstrings are super tight. And I cannot reach my toes very easily today. But if that is you, you can fold as far as you need to. You can bring your face all the way to your foot. So using the breath to soften in this intense hamstring opener. So this is just an example that came to me, right? I could be sitting here like, oh my God, I can't touch my toes. Like I could touch them yesterday, like feeling weird about it, beating myself up about it, getting overthinky and weird in my mind about it. Or I can say to myself, you know what? I worked my legs really hard on Friday. I did a really good job and my legs are tight and so they need a little love today. You know what I mean? It doesn't change it physically, but mentally, that second thought is so much softer. Like that is more supportive than the first one. Amazing. One more big breath in. And then as we exhale, we can start to bend back into that knee, hands frame the foot. Oh boy, swing that left knee back. Whew, so I'll give you a second to do what you feel like you need on this side. So I'll invite you, this is what I'm kind of craving. Maybe we do just one down dog together. So to stretch out top to bottom, we can tuck the toes behind us, ground through the palms, under the shoulders, and then start to lift the knees off the earth. So making like an upside down V with our body, booty to the sky. And I like to pedal through my knees or walk the dog, as we say. So stretching one heel to the floor as we bend the opposite knee and then switching. Maybe even a little turn through the head side to side. Oh, feels so good to stretch the whole body after being on our knees so long. So let's enjoy one more big breath. And then as we exhale, we can gently, with the strength of our arms and our core, lower the knees down. Beautiful. You guys ready for the other side? That was a long one, but we got this. So our right toes now, or our right leg will stretch behind us. And we'll start to take that roll over the top of our foot, inhaling, shifting forward, rolling on those toes, and then exhale to press through the back heel. So just taking a few on your own. Awesome. Let's press back through the heel one more time. And then inhale that right leg straight and strong behind us. So foot is flexed. And then we'll take a couple of those crunches. We'll inhale, look up, stretch the leg long and strong. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, push it back. Exhale, a little crunch. A few more like that. Something really interesting to think about is what is the first thing you think when you wake up in the morning? Like, what is the first thought you have about your day? Did anyone wake up this morning and just go, yes, another day. I get to be alive. I get to be out in the world and do all these different things. Or did you wake up and go, oh shit, another day. So much to do, so much ahead of me. Let's inhale, stretch that leg. And then exhale, we're going to step, take that crunch, but step it all the way through between the hands. So right foot between the hands this time. I like to scooch my back knee a little further back just to make a wider stance. That's what feels good to me, but you do what works for you. Left palm stays down. Inhaling, right arm to the sky this time. So you'll notice my knee stays over my ankle. We don't want to be in a lunge where our knee is over the toes too far. That's not great for our joints. So as long as we're stacked, knee over ankle, we're in a good place. And again, we can circle that wrist. Or maybe we're taking that whole arm. And again, those thoughts are habits, right? We can get in the habit of dreading the day before us, thinking about how hard it's all going to be or how much we don't want to do the things we have to do. Or my favorite way to start the day, it's almost like how we started class, right? We got to set the tone, get our mind right. Gratitude, man. Like, oh my goodness. If gratitude is our first thought when we wake up, like, yay, I woke up. Guess what? There are a lot of people who didn't get to today. What if we started with that thought? I'm just so grateful to be alive, and whatever happens today is going to be just fine. You know, I have another chance to try. Let's inhale, turn our chest maybe a little bit more open, and then exhale, we'll switch the twist. So, what are left and right? Don't know, I forgot for a second. So right palm and side, that right foot. And again, we can find that squeeze, that lock between right forearm and right shin as we open left arm to the sky. Love a circle in the wrist, it's soothing to me. You can even wrap that arm around your low back if your arms are getting tired. Let's take one more big breath in. Then as we exhale, I'm going to make that little kickstand by spinning my left shin a little more behind me as I rise up and back. So we're in warrior two, facing the other direction. So gaze is off those right fingertips. One more inhale. And then as we exhale, relaxing those shoulders, drawing right arm across the body in front of the chest. Grabbing onto forearm, gently pulling that arm towards our body. Should feel a nice big stretch in the shoulder. Inhale, open wide. And then as we exhale, reversing the warrior. So left hand can come to our hip as right arm comes up overhead. Or maybe we reach for the heel or tuck the toes to bring the heel a little closer. One last big inhale. And then as we exhale, spinning forward, spinning that kickstand in, and straightening the right leg, bowing forward, big hamstring stretch. So you could, one could spend this entire yoga class that you chose to take beating yourself up, right? Or feeling like, oh my God, all our thoughts could be what we can't do, how far we can't go, that move that didn't work for us. Or we could spend this time celebrating everything we can do. Like, look at how far you've come. Look at all the things you tried. Everything your body did allow you to do today. Let's focus on that. Let's not take anything for granted. Because maybe we can't do the splits. I can't do the splits. I've been doing yoga for 15 years. Can't do the splits, but you know what? I bet I would miss my legs if they didn't work. So let's appreciate the legs that we have. We don't need to do the splits to appreciate them. Maybe your body is not the weight you ideally would like it to be or the shape you would like it to be in, but guess what? You're here. You're moving and breathing and alive and taking action towards those goals. Like, what more could you ask of yourself? Let's celebrate that. And know that with time, it takes time and consistent effort, you will get closer. So just so glad that you chose to take this time again. Lovely. One more inhale. And then let's exhale, bend into that knee. Such good work. We've done plenty. Swinging that right knee in line, finding hands and knees once again. If you're just aching for a down dog, go ahead and take it. Full body stretch. You don't have to. Ugh. And then from there, find your own way. You can cross up the ankles or swing your body to one side. Doesn't have to be pretty. Let's find a way to lie down onto our back. You made it. So scooching to the center of our mat. We can use the strength of our bellies to support us as we lower down. And let's hug knees into the chest. Let's make ourselves a little ball and just start to rock around a little bit. So drawing some circles with the knees. One way and then switching the direction of those circles. And then let's open arms out wide to the side. They can just rest and be heavy on the floor. Knees are bent. Let's exhale, knees to the left. They can come all the way down on the floor as we turn our gaze to the right, so the opposite way of our knees. And the closer your knees are to your left armpit, the more you're going to feel the intensity of this twist. And so if the knees are off the floor, they don't come down all the way, maybe we shift the knees so they're more on a diagonal and more towards the bottom corner of your mat. Should be a place that feels easy to hold, restful, just letting gravity take over. Let's use our belly to inhale, knees up towards our chest. And exhale, switch sides. So knees to the right, gaze to the left. So important to balance out hard work that we just did with some rest. We can't push it at 100% 24/7, right? There's got to be some ebb and flow, some balance. Rest is every bit as important as hard work. And in fact, it's taking the proper rest, allowing ourselves that rest, that time, that allows us to work really hard. It allows us to be strong in our actions when we are, nourished and taken care of and have the resources inside us to give. So, really, this time that you've decided to take is one of the most selfless things you can do for everyone around you because you're going to be better for everything else your day has today for you. So, on that note, let's inhale the knees back up through center. Let's give them one more squeeze. And I'll invite everyone to even wrap your arms around your knees, bring your forehead up and in, little ball. Give yourself a big hug. Really, like find even just a little bit of love for your body and yourself and everything you were able to do today. And then let's sigh it out. Let's relax into a few moments of rest. So feet can be on the floor, knees resting against each other for low back sensitivity, or if you want to just sprawl out, legs long, taking up some space, feel free. Let's do a final breath in together, all the way in through the nose. Hold it at the top, and then sigh out the mouth. Please feel free to stay in this rest as long as you need. If you are ready and needing to reawaken and return to life, you can do so gradually, gently bringing in a deeper breath. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes or turning the head a little side to side. I love just a big giant morning stretch with arms overhead. Everything getting nice and long, toes to fingertips. Oh, yeah. And then, however, you want to make your way to a seat, maybe rocking over onto one side, or I like to just get some momentum, swing it up, and we'll pause just for one more moment together in our seat whenever you arrive, hands to heart. Let's end this practice by choosing a really supportive, empowered thought to take with us, to keep in mind for the rest of our day. Something that will uplift us and keep us grounded and keep us in the right headspace so that we can continue to move towards our goals. So thank you so much, everyone, for taking this time. Namaste. Hope you're feeling good, and it was a pleasure to practice with you. Thanks, everybody.